There's been some huge problems for Derby County with injuries across the course of this season, but what are Derby County and John Eustace going to do to stop that happening in the future? We've obviously already seen a radical change of the sports science department and obviously the medical department at Derby County, according to Paul Warne and BBC Radio Derby, but is that going to happen again this summer? In my opinion, the best practice would be to keep some people in-house and make little changes. There's obviously things that are going wrong, and that's something that will be assessed across the course of the summer, but it's something which we can't really change right now. The important thing for me and that John Eustace needs to do over the course of the next few weeks is make sure that we're limiting training, especially for those key players. We already heard reports from John Percy that the training sessions are shorter and sharper now, and I think that'll have a massive impact on the injuries that we're currently having. Now obviously there will be a potential return for the likes of Corey Blackett-Taylor, Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, Ben Osborne, Kmar Roof, all before the end of the season. But will they be able to have an impact with such a short period of time till that end of the season? Obviously, some of them are out for 4 to 6 weeks, some are out for 6 to 8, and it's going to be massive for me that John Eustace gets those players back to be able to have them on the bench to call upon and change the way we're playing. At the moment, we're stuck in a bit of a 3-5-2 system. We've not really having any forward options to bring off the bench apart from Tom Barkhazen and Caden Jackson. Now, obviously, Derby County are doing really well in that sort of 3-5-2 setup, but it's going to be interesting to see how he develops that over the course of the next few months. Now, obviously, we're just, 8 weeks away from the end of the season where Derby County will know if they have secured survival or if they are going back down to League One. Now, the big question for me will be, can John Eustace see this over the line? We've spoken about it time and time again across the course of the last few weeks, and in my opinion, he absolutely can. There's got to be a change, though, behind the scenes, and not because of John Eustace, but because of what's happened prior. The training sessions before, we know, were heavily fitness focused, and heavily focused on what kilometres the players are running, and how much distance they're covering, and in games and things like that, and getting them to the red zone. But realistically, you don't want your players to be hitting the red zone. You want your players to be staying as far away from the red zone as possible. Maybe hitting the red zone directly after a game, but not within training sessions. It's going to be very interesting to see how this whole situation develops with the injury problems that we have. Obviously, at the moment, you look at the injury list, we've got Kmar Roof, Jorgen Selverson, Dejon Brown, Mendez-Lang, Corey Blackett-Taylor, Ben Osborne, Joe Ward, David Ozo, Curtis Nelson, Jack Thompson, one of the academy goalkeepers. Obviously, you can then potentially add Sondre Langas to that list, as it's been reported he could potentially need surgery. Now, I do believe that he's been called up for the national team. Whether he plays or not, I don't know. Whether he ends up going or not, at this moment, I do not know, because I'm recording on the 12th of March. But it's a massive, massive problem for Derby, seeing a player like Sondre Langas, who could potentially require surgery, potentially heading on international duty. For me, if I was John Eustace, I'd be turning around to the secretary at the club and telling Norway that he will not be going on international duty. He will not be playing. Because how can you let a player go who potentially needs surgery and then go and play international football, train international football, when we can keep an eye and protect him at Derby County? Now, some may say that international teams may have better medical facilities and medical staff than Derby County do, but ultimately we don't know how he will be looked after or what they may know in regards to that injury. Now, it's obviously important for Derby County to sort of keep their best players fit and available. You look at the likes of Ibu Adams, Jerry Yates, Marcus Harness, Forsyth, Clark, Nat Phillips. They obviously all need to stay fit so that Derby County can continue with the form that they're going on. Now, I'm not saying Derby County aren't going to lose games until the end of the season, because absolutely we probably will. And when you're watching this, maybe we lost to Plymouth Argyle. And that would be a massive problem, considering that they're currently winning versus Portsmouth as I'm recording this video. But what we have to take a keen eye on and a keen focus on is what Derby County do with those players that are injured. We saw Curtis Nelson at the game on Tuesday night, but obviously he won't be available until next season. Dejon Brown, Lars-Jorgen Selverson, all not available till next season. Ben Osborne is probably out till the end of the year as well. But that's something which John Eustace has dealt with very, very well over recent weeks. Introducing Harrison Armstrong, introducing Liam Thompson to that midfield. Obviously then losing Mendez-Lang and Kmar Roof. We've gone to a 3-5-2 with Jerry Yates and Marcus Harness up front, who have done really, really well in recent weeks. We've gone to that back three, and it's done incredibly well since the return of Craig Forsyth. Now, Obviously, I'm not saying that Craig Forsyth is the be-all and end-all at Derby County, but he knows exactly what we need on that pitch, and he is a very, very good footballer. He might not have the pace that he used to have, but he still has that ability and still reads the game excellently well. Now, it's obviously really important for Derby County that we keep a player like Craig Forsyth fit, and if I go back to the days when Ray Rooney was in charge and Liam Rosenior, they'd often let Tom Lawrence, Ravel Morrison, Curtis Davis, Phil Jagielka, the older heads, sit out of training. Not because they didn't need to train, but because it kept them fit and available. And what we needed during that administration season was those players fit and available. I think they did the same with Christian Bielik as well. And I think we could potentially see a similar feat with John Eustace. Although we probably won't hear about it, I do think that could potentially be happening with some of our key players. You've obviously got to make sure that they're still in the tactical sessions, still involved in the set pieces, but making sure that they aren't doing too much running and any of that jazz, because that's where you're going to cause problems. Now, obviously, as we head towards, I believe it will be the final 8 games of the season as you're watching this video, there's a massive, massive opportunity for Derby County to stay in the Championship, earn 10 million alone in just TV revenue, and give John Eustace a war chest to rebuild this squad, which we will have spoke about across the course of the last week. But what Derby County first and foremost need to do is make sure that the recruitment staff, the medical staff, all are able to deal with not only injury history, but even being able to predict and present what an injury future may look like. Derby County's staff have got to do something to recover this team, not just in a sense of recovering the team in a sense of injuries and fatigue, but also making sure that when we're bringing in players, we're treating them well and giving them the right possible opportunity to build into the squad, rather than what we did with Lars-Jørgen Salverson and Sondre Langas of just chucking them in straight away. It's going to be a massive, massive opportunity for John Eustace this, and I do believe that he can get us out and keep us in this division. But you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments, because it's going to be a very, very interesting one. I'm going to have a video dropping later today talking all about Derby County's potential great escape from 7 points and no hope after, 13 defeats in 15 games. It's going to be a very, very interesting video to keep an eye out for. So if you have not done so already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit that like button to help push this video to brand new audiences. Make sure you do let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I may not have been replying to comments across the course of the last few days. I'm currently abroad on holiday, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see all your comments when I return from my break away from not just the computer screen, but also from football. It's been a massive, massive few years on the channel, and I really appreciate all the support. As I'm recording this video, we're getting ever closer to 1,850 subscribers. When you're watching this, we may be way above it. I don't know. But please make sure you do smash that subscribe button, you hit that notification bell, and keep pushing this channel on to new levels, because there's so much that I want to do, and so much that if I can get this channel to hit certain levels that I could do with not only this channel, but potentially even other people as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell to help push this channel, and I'll catch you in my next video.